Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to be trying to solve the Synthesizer artifact deck. I'm playing a couple of spicy cards in this deck list in order to combat some of the best one meta right now, especially with what a lot of decks are being posted right now. So let's go over them very quickly and talk about what we're trying to do in general as our starting game plan. So we're playing a couple of copies of 3 Steps Ahead, and this card is probably one of our key pieces and one of the underrated pieces of this deck, on the fact that it is a counter spell and it doesn't matter how much mana they have open. As long as they don't have a counter spell, this is going to be good. And the main piece on it is spending 4 mana in order to copy an artifact or creature, as it can copy our Synthesizer as our main kind of win piece here. But real quickly, the other card that's kind of spicy out of these starting cards that you won't see realistically in any of these decks is Rest in Peace. I just want to be able to queue up and not run into Azorius artifacts and have to rely on this, and especially since they are now playing Grand Abolisher, it's not very possible for us to always have this available or have an Odawara online in order to bounce the combo in that specific time frame. So we play Rest in Peace. We will sacrifice the value of our Fabrication Foundry, a little bit of a nombo here, but if we ever put Rest in Peace in play, it is much better for us than it is for our opponent. And you might be like, well, these can be dead cards. But that's the idea. Whenever we have a Vault in our deck that can kind of discard it and use it as kind of our discard fodder in order to find the cards that we're looking for. So that's another piece. But what is our main kind of combo piece? Not combo piece, I've been playing too many combo decks. But what is our main piece in our deck that we're trying to play around and win with? And that is Simulacrum Synthesizer. This is by far my favorite card as a guy that really likes to play artifacts. That's what my commander deck is. That's what my legacy deck is. It is built around this card. Specifically, I love this card the most. It is my favorite card. It's been released in a very long time. But when it enters the battlefield, you scry to. That part does not matter. It does, but it doesn't in comparison to what the next part does. Whenever an artifact with mana value 3 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, create a construct which power and toughness is equal to every artifact you control. That is so good in this deck, and is very, very nice because out of artifacts and stuff we have, obviously none of this can necessarily enter the battlefield, make an artifact, but everything here and up besides this to populate will make a construct token. All these will. And if you craft a card like Unstable Glyph Bridge, use the craft part, it re-enters on the backside, but it still knows it's 5 mana. Therefore, it'll also make another construct token. And 3 Steps Ahead, of course, as we talked about in the very beginning, is a nice, cute way in order to make another copy of this. And now we can start making more constructs. And the copy will enter with 3 mana value, so it will make a construct on an ETB, scry to. And then next turn, when we play a removal spell or a draw spell like Mightstone, Weakstone, both of our synthesizers that we now made a copy of will trigger and make more constructs, and very quickly we'll get out of control for our opponent. The only other thing really to bring up is these vaults down here. This card is very good, and the fact that it's not legendary is insane to me, but this card look at top X cards in your library with X number of artifacts you control. Put one of those cards in your hand, the rest on the bottom. Is very good at getting rid of cards that are just bad in the matchup, whether that's Spring-Loaded Trap or Rest in Peace or Glass Casket or something like that, or just any top end like a Depopulate against a matchup like Control where it's not good. We can use our Vault to kind of cycle those cards away. So outside of that, we're going to go ahead and hop into the games and see how they go. Also, by the way, if you like my content, please consider subscribing. I truly appreciate it. With that said, let's go ahead and hop into the game. Good thing I looked over and realized I wasn't recording, and now I'm in quite a weird spot. If they're a slower deck, we're going to be so happy we have this hand, but if they're a fast deck, it's going to be kind of tough. I'm going to take that land, honestly. We found a removal spell, sort of. This mean this is a slow deck? I don't know. 2 basics seems kind of wild. I don't really want to give them value. Here, take it. I feel like I just have to, since I have 2, I feel like I have to slam. Their entire hand's going to be spells. Like, I know this. So, like, I have to try to stick one. Especially if they're like, oh, I'm going to force to get a land here. Put different basic islands in your deck. Disgusting. I've already read your thoughts. Are we just a Jace Mill deck? How fun. Sure, dude. Hey, I know you. This one. Sure, I guess. What do we got, opponent? Are we just fun Jace Mill guy?
Organic minds are easily quelled.
What do we got? March, probably? If I had to guess. If this resolves, this helps a ton. Oh, it did. This snapped resolve. Was not ready for that to instantly resolve, to be honest with you. This most likely does nothing for them. It helps them pay for a No More Lies if I played it anymore, but I cut it for specific reasons. Thorian Spider was making it kind of awkward, so I didn't like playing it anymore. What did we have for... Sure? Like, kind of answers things. And they're gonna plus on my Thran Spider, which is like fine. Kind of. They missed another land. Super dope. We hit a land. I don't have enough to pay for that. I kind of want to just play around. I mean, Sunfall doesn't really do much, right? Yeah, let's play the Might Stone and Weak Stone. You could have a Spell Pierce, I guess. Am I playing around Spell Pierce? Absolutely not. I'm gonna draw 2 cards. Then I'm gonna play this. Because now if I can get this started, I can at least have it dodge some stuff. And now we can answer this Jace. They might mill us to try to draw another card. I do think this is the... I'm going to try to barrel a couple of Jaces against you to win. I think that's why they're also being so aggressive on mills against me. Down to 39. We're still pretty safe. They have to find an answer. Have they been a combo deck this entire time? Just been missing? Oh, dude. Sweet. So most likely they don't have another counter spell. Cast this. I have 3 mana, so you better have a hard counter spell. Nope. Okay. Am I at fault for thinking that was the Jace Barrel deck? I was not ready for the combo, considering we didn't see Faithful Mending. We didn't see that creature until that turn. We didn't see an Otherworldly Gaze. They showed us nothing that they were this combo deck, besides the fact that they were like, I guess I'll play this on turn 6. Like, what? They weren't even milling themselves. Mill yourself. My opponent goes first. Sure. Depending if it matters. Might not. Who knows? Otherworldly Gaze. Sick mainboard hate card. I don't think a lot of these decks play March of the Otherworldly Light, so realistically, Rest in Peace should be good here. Why we're putting it in is called playing towards the meta. And sometimes you just have to do it. Hard decision on top. Sure. Probably another Otherworldly Gaze or a way to do something. There's their Odawara as well. I'm just gonna play this now. What are the odds that I played against the combo deck twice in a row? That's kind of wild. Sick. We are metagaming, and this sometimes, Rest in Peace, just gotta go right in the main board when you're playing best of one. And sometimes it gets us there. Oh, we go first this time? Very sick. I like the one first. Quite a lot, honestly. We'll keep this. This doesn't really do anything on ETB. It's kind of our value card that we want later and not necessarily right now, but... Ooh. March good. March very good here. Cliff Bridge also good. We just have to hope they hit it. Yeah, we'll take this one. On instep, I guess I'll go ahead and answer. I'll go ahead and answer this Epicure. Yes. Yeah, you better watch out for me, bucko. I'm dangerous. So the best part is, really just trying to make me take damage next turn. Now, I imagine because it doesn't really want to calculate this as 0, and that makes sense to me. I don't want to calculate it as 0 mana. That sucks. Don't worry about what I have. I have nothing. That's tough, dude, honestly. Enters, exile. We have to pass. Hold this up. Maybe exile this during combat. What a time to find a cavern. I'm pretty pumped about that, I think. This. We take roughly the same amount plus 3. Hurts. Works. The blood token's obviously stopping play here. We'll take care of that. And now we have to kind of hope they run out. But already at 4 lands, most likely they won't. Yes. You have more. You have a knight. Knight's a little weird here because you don't hit that 3 mana sweet spot like this. But sure. Why not? Man, it really took them that long to figure out math. I love Boros players. Go first. We have ramp, march, glass casket, right into synthesizers. So yeah, we'll take this hand. Also, a really good land to have early. Sure. My turn. Another land here. I think we have to get synthesizer online, so I'm gonna play this. Look like we have shields down, and then march this if they pump it with the glass casket. I still think I'm going to do that, but instead I'm going to use this mana rock. Just get this off the board. And then I'm going to play synthesizer and hope we draw a decent land or a decent spell here to start making constructs. Or we can flood. That's also possible, chat. Man. Quite the card. If there is a card that I know we can scale against, it is definitely that card. We have kind of a trick here. Sure. Uh-huh. This. We'll make a construct and then we'll scry. I mean, am I just on the copy this multiple times plan? Like, honestly, I might as well be. Because eventually it's going to grow out of size. Sure. It's like next time I'm going to make 2 constructs. You want to monster rage me, opponent? You can. No? Okay. Are you good? Okay. Opponent, please pass the turn. Pass. Man, I love this guy. Says, I'm pausing every single phase for this play with fire. You ain't tricking me. Too smart to be tricked. Go straight to combat. Do this again, I guess. Construct, construct, construct. Braiding that's pretty good. I like braiding that. Sure. Force him to grow the other one. Sure. We knew it was play with fire, chat. Sure. More removal. Sick. And now they're going to hope that it's enough. And now we plan to do this. I will make 3 constructs. Go ahead. What do you got for me, Red? And this is why I like playing 3 steps ahead, even though realistically there's very good chances we're supposed to lose that game. But also, like, I think I don't know what I'm supposed to do when I draw this hand. Like, if we just drew a braided net naturally, we would have played it on turn 2 instead. Made a construct and started tapping their stuff. But it is what it is. We could try this hand. As good as Rest in Peace is in the open field, I'll take it. Let's surveil here. Don't need more land right now, I don't think. 4 mana's like, we have a lot of mana rocks and stuff like that. I don't necessarily think this is where I really want to be. Honestly, just for purposes, I'm playing this Rest in Peace. I doubt they have anything that Rest in Peace matters against, but let's do this. We could just play this and exile nothing. That'd be very cool. Take the draw. Now they have to discard, which it does go to exile. Bitter Triumph. Creature removal. Bitter Triumph, kind of weird. I understand we're doing it, thinking you might be against hard control because we haven't shown anything yet. Ooh, another loot here. Maybe they think their hand's bad against control. And they know they're going to get another cycle here, but oh, to Sunfall goes. Super sick. Let's get them to use their demo field early, as I would rather them use it early on my Mirrex to kind of maybe take a turn off, and we can get our basics out of the way. It might have another removal spell, but this does make an artifact, so it has to be cut down. We have 2 more basics in the deck, unless I'm wrong. Yeah, we have 2. So we might want to use our demo field pretty early against this Restless Fortress. But knowing that, I'll draw the basic immediately here. Ooh, nice. Land. Go to combat. Attack. I don't want to get too crazy on my turns. I think I'm just going to hold up Counterspell. Sure. No block here. Gain 2 lives. Or I 2. The main problem I'm going to have against this deck is the fact that this is going to be a Planeswalker deck, most likely. And it's going to be a little bit tough to deal with. But second demo field. They'll probably hold that demo field for a while here. I had to imagine. Are we barreling a Planeswalker? Target player draws 3 cards. Yeah, I'm not allowing that. Going for this. And what is their hand? They've drawn so many cards. Discard a card. Glyph Bridge can go. What do we got, opponent? You got to sacrifice, draw more cards or something? No. I have a second Rest in Peace. I don't want to reveal my Vault until I have to. Let's do this draw 2. And because we have to get to our synthesizer pretty much. Now, farewell is possible, which farewell is possible anyway. So I think I go ahead and play one synthesizer. And Gonjo, that takes a card out of their hand. We're also just winning this game purely off cards in hand. It'll flip back to day for him. I don't really care though. I'm going to take that top card. We know how strong it's been in a match before, especially in a matchup like this. On an instep, copying a synthesizer or countering a spell copying synthesizer is so good. A plus, that makes sense. It's a land, sure. Surveil. Card is exiled. They keep on top, sure. Probably a farewell if I had to guess. Demo field is possible here, but I'm going to allow it probably. I can just throw this in the way right now. Force them to kind of go for it, and then I can counter and copy. I have to assume farewell's coming. They kind of played towards it for the most part. But this also sets two kind of bricks in the way. If they blow this up, I don't care. I think. We have another one. We know what our plan is. We're setting up to win, not to wait around. But now our demo field, we have to remember, we do not have a basic. Having one early plus getting one kind of hit earlier does suck. Land. Plus. Sure. You took that draw. Can you not throw it away? Yeah, they wanted it out of the way. That makes sense. Yeah, get it in there. Created token as cop. Honestly, I should probably just hold this up like literally forever. Should just hold it up forever. As long as I can, especially against the Orzhov deck that's not really going to have a way to deal with it. Braided Net. Oh, do you know how Braided Net works? Braided Net works in a sick way. Play it. Put a stop right here. Move this. Sure. Emperor, we do not care about.
I'm home.
That makes sense.
You are not much of a roadblock.
It's. Do I have anything else? No. Sure. Pass. What would you even have? Can't be activated now, I think. If I remember right. Sure.
I have got new moves to teach you.
What do we want? What is it that we want? We're gonna loot, draw, gain a life, sure. It's very weird. Honestly, I'd be a little bit more aggressive with this 3 steps ahead, but we only have one more. So I'm being a little cautious while I can be. Sure. That's fine. Also, just because of the fact that we get absolutely dream crushed by we absolutely dream crushed by what we know. I have to be careful with how this taps for mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, I do get to make another construct this way, so I'm down to do it. Target this. Get that out of the way. Move to combat. This can go dome, and this can go here. Have another flanker. Let them make their choice first. Top, bottom. 1, 2, 3. This out of the way. I know I'm letting down my plan of making a copy of Synthesizer, but we're getting our creatures so massive now that they're within one-shot distance, and if their entire plan here... I need to put the stop here. You keep tapping this Sorin down. But again, if their entire plan is to farewell me here, I get to counter it, and then they have to figure out my board state. It's kind of where I'm at. Even Sunfall, I'm countering. I have to assume this is farewell. It's a March. With that, do I care? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have to let it go. You still have to deal with my constructs. And this is where patience kind of pays off a little. And now we're just like, okay, opponent. You have stuff to deal with. Go to combat. Oh, wait, am I missing lethal because of this? I'm so stupid. 7, 14. I don't think I am. I could be. It'd be 2. I guess it'd been just short. I'm gonna take a draw chance here. Draw 2. I will now in turn activate this here. Activate. One more draw. Did you hit it? High noon. Dang, nice game. Nice game. Man, I was really setting up at 3 steps ahead play for so long. It's just like not fair, really. Depending on what the match is, this hand's like fine. The surveil lands are kind of awkward, I would guess. But like, should be fine in March. Now, if it's Convoke, I'm probably putting this Adhikar Waste in, regardless. Green. Sure, I guess. Okay. This deck. Okay. I just have to be ready to remove all this. Honestly, I think in the late game, we're kind of favored. Ooh. That's pretty sick. That's like... I think this card's actually gone up a ton in value just because, like, Commander. But let's get that off the battlefield. Most likely they'll meet this requirement next turn. So we have to get Synthesizer up and going as quickly as possible. This card's good. Sprinkler Trap, probably not as good. I'm hoping that they play a creature, maybe just draw a card, and then I can... Ward 2 is probably about as annoying of a card as I could have imagined. That sucks. Honestly, that sucks. Ward 2 is pretty good here. Ice Stone, Weak Stone, I'm going to let that go. But I can't do this and get rid of this. Let's see. I could counter their spell that they play here and just take my 5. Just cast. It's just enter the battlefield, okay. Uncounterable? That's fine for now. Do we just race them? Do I just say, like... I guess I can't copy because I didn't put the untap land in. I don't trust that at all. And I think it enters with like 4 counters. I think it enters with like 4 counters. I'm not doing that. Because of these. And then it flips and it's huge. Holy. That's actually wild. Do this. Play here. Yeah. Here, yes. And then I will auto pay the ward. So I have a 4/4, kind of small, comparatively to how big a creature with ward will be. I imagine these will both trigger and then put both counters on, because that's like how the stack would work. A ramp, nothing. Oh, just like that, chat. I think we're set up well. I'm going to push my advantage here, I think. Draw 2 cards. Sweet. Attack. In turn. Because they shown that they had a dead turn last turn. That's 2 draws. I screwed up, chat. I'll take it. I screw up sometimes, you know? It's fine. Everything's fine. Relax. I won. We have to ball that hand. I would love to keep that hand, but it's just unkeepable. We keep here. Might Stone, Weak Stone has to go. I just don't want to go any lower, honestly. And we have a lot of kind of spells in hand. We just have to take it. Domain. Oh boy. What a way to have some cards that are not good. I'm not gonna lie to you. If it comes down to the fact I don't hit a land, I do right away, so I'm a liar. I was like, I'm just going to concede, to be honest. But most likely our plan is to play a Thread Spider, make our little Power Stone tokens, call it a day, and then start Mirix, like, making tokens right away. And just get them a little bit close to where they have to kind of jam something like an Atraxa, and then we will assimilation it. Ooh, I have to get that off the battlefield. This is no longer domain, I think. Could be a lightning helix. I don't like that at all. Three. I've seen this card before, and I don't like it. There's going to be a Niv Mizzet or something in my future. I'm horrified. I think I had to march that. I could be wrong, but... They play another one. That one survives. I don't have an answer for it. You know my plan. I'm gonna start Mirixing, I hope. I don't really have another plan. I'm probably just dead, to be honest. I don't know how I keep up, if it's the deck I think it is. I've only seen it once, but I've never seen it again. This one? My little mite. My little warrior, if you would. Fired off. We're in there. This one? No more lives is also possible, by the way. No? Okay. Alright, I officially don't know what's going on anymore. Honestly, a good land to draw to start getting rid of some of these bad cards. Maybe it is just domain. I don't know. Atraxa gains some 5 life, which is gross, but sure. Yeah, it makes sense. Can't activate that anyway. Go for it, opponent. This is a hard matchup for us, to be honest. Sunfall. Just heard migration. Yeah, it's pretty good. It was pretty good. I don't blame you for playing those, big dog. No. We're chilling right now. We're being chilling right now. Honestly, I'm probably super dead here, but we have to play to this. Uh-oh. So what are the absolute odds that I find an unstable glyph bridge here? All blades, not good. We miss. Come on, I guess. Lift bridge. Oh, I think I just have to activate. 1, 2. I'm just curious. I have to populate as well, but well, I mean, I looked through the top 15 or so, didn't find any of them. I'll lose, I guess. On them all and everything as well. It is what it is. What did I put on bottom? I don't remember. A my stone, weak stone. Yeah, it is what it is. Okay, here we are. We're going to talk about the deck a little bit. I kind of already did this once, so it's going to sound like I'm repeating myself a lot. But I wanted to go over the deck and actually be a little bit more concise about what I was saying. I was a little all over the place. So let's just kind of go card by card here and talk a little bit what I like. A card that I probably will not get rid of in the deck unless I add another color is March of the Otherworldly Light. And the reason for that is this card is so valuable at answering all the things that we don't quite have an answer to in our deck. Obviously, Planeswalkers are kind of tough and we're a little bit soft to Jace Mill, but hopefully the Pro Tour convinced people that Jace is not good because pros don't believe in Jace, and that's kind of what we're relying on. That's the one's obviously a different beast, but that is what it is. So March, I kind of refuse to remove, but as you'll notice, I don't have the little Market Gnome, and that's just because of all the artifact decks I've seen. I've been cutting that card. I don't really like cutting it because of a problem I'll talk about kind of at the end. But let's just move on. 3 Steps Ahead is probably the best card that we could be playing if we're ever going to play a counter spell in this deck. And the reason why is you saw in one of the matchups, using the kind of copy and artifact that we have, especially a Synthesizer, can help just produce tons of tokens. Especially if our opponent tries to remove this. A thing that we can do is just allow them to remove it if we don't have the mana, but actually make a copy. So we have another one in play and they remove the original, but because we're copying it beforehand, we'd actually make a construct and that helps a ton. Or we can just counter it, and if we have the mana, we can counter it and then copy, which is actually incredible to do. And then, of course, this is one of the few decks that I think in general that activating all modes in this is definitely possible and very valuable for us. So a lot of times that's good, and also on our opponent's end step, and they don't play anything, we got a counter, we have a backup one of these, then we'll just fire it off, copy the Synthesizer anyway, or like another card that might make sense, like a Braided Net or something, or like a Glyph Bridge. I guess Glyph Bridge doesn't do it, but to make a construct, most of the time you'd have to get value, so it'd probably be like a My Stone, Weak Stone if it wasn't going to copy this Synthesizer. But other than that, we got Ramp, we have our kind of mainstay Removal and Springloaded Trap, and another one in Glass Casket. Glass Casket, I'm not sure if I'm sold on. I don't really like it that much, but I understand why it's in here, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it just rots in hand and can't hit the target that we want, but it is what it is. I'd probably rather just play something else, maybe like another Board Wipe or something. But Rest in Peace is kind of our splash card right now that we kind of find ourselves having to play with the Azorius combo deck and the kind of Ramp deck. It's Teamer Ramp, you know, the World Soul Rage deck. Rest in Peace is so good against those two matchups. Like, it borderline just wins you the game. And for us, it's a little bit slower and a little bit more reliant on getting this in play and then starting to win the game. We can be oftentimes be a little too slow in those matchups if we don't quite have this in time, especially the Azorius combo deck. As you saw in one of our matchups, we just put this on the stack and they just conceded because the decks don't really play a way to answer this. It's all about the combo and it's all about counter magic. So if you find a way to slip this in, most of the time you'll be pretty good at getting the W there. Outside of that, what else we got? We got Braden Net as a 3 of, which is a pretty standard card. We have Market Gnome as a 3 of. And we have the Synthesizer, which is our key card, as you obviously probably know what that does if they're watching this video. But we didn't get to play with this card too much, and this card is a card that I've been kind of playing over a fourth copy of Thran Spider, or a fourth copy of Braided Net, something like that. Braided Net's very cool at drawing cards. It's kind of why it's in here. But this also does the same. However, the trick with this card is this says that it will return on the next end step. That also implies your opponent's next end step. The idea is to pay 2 mana to sacrifice this on your opponent's turns, pay 2 to make a copy of it on their end step, and have it Synthesizer make a construct because of that. So we're drawing a card, have a repeatable source to trigger the Synthesizer every single turn as long as we have 4 mana, which is sometimes pretty easy in this deck to do, especially if we're at the point of sacking this and drawing a card and making a copy. And hopefully that's not out of desperation, that's out of getting value. But it can also make a construct, and we can do that kind of at instant speed as well. I guess not instant speed because we have to wait till end step. But we can do this at any time and then get this triggering when we want it to. And outside of that, the rest of these cards over here are pretty self-explanatory. But a card that I am wish-washy on, and whether I like it or not, is this card. I played matchups today that I just did not really like this card that much. I mean, 3 mana, exile a creature until it leaves the battlefield is pretty good, but we had one of the matchups that I had that got cut. Apex, or not Apex, the Apex Legends, the game, the FPS I was playing, but Magic the Gathering Arena updated and my Streamlabs updated, so my first like hour plus of recording is like gone, so I had to re-record entirely. But a Simulation Aegis, this card, I haven't found it to be that great. And one of the things that is cool about it is I exiled Natraxa with this and equipped this to a Mirix token that I had made, and then that Mirix token was a 7/7 Natraxa, hit my opponent, but the problem there is this got Leyline Binding and then I lost the game. Or against aggro, it's just like, which one of the 4 creatures am I going to remove? I didn't like this card that much. And maybe a 1 of copy I think is fine, but in best of 1, I feel like this card doesn't quite get the value that it can get in most other matchups. And it's a little bit tough to have a lot of copies in this card in your deck, especially if it's bad, because then it's like, what do you do with it? But the reason why I much rather like substitute it out is I rather solidify, depopulate, and unstable glyph bridge, or even cut these and add the Market Gnomes back in, because I love how Market Gnome feels in best of 1 at protecting me against mono red. But in best of 1, it's so fast that this card just feels so clunky at times, even though it does trigger the Synthesizer as well as be a removal spell. But again, if I'm not living long enough or able to answer an entire Boros board state in best of 1, then I just don't think I can play the card. I could be wrong. It is a small sample size of me playing this card, and I'm probably still going to continue to play it and try to find those spots in which it's really, really good in. But for me right now, I did not like it that much, and I think I'm probably going to end up cutting it down to maybe like a 1 of, but I could, again, be wrong. Outside of that, I think I might end up switching this deck and pivoting into Bant and probably not playing anything like this card or this card. As good as these are, playing tap lanes kind of sucks, especially turns 1 through 3 and a lot of times on turn 4. Obviously, you can kind of manipulate your deck and not doing that too often. But I think Bant might give us some good opportunities to play additional ramp, as in the Cornucopia, I think. It's in the big score. I can pull this up real quick. This card, we can play this card in our deck, which seems very, very good, and I like it a lot. Whenever you cast a spell, 1 or more colors, gain 1 life, and for each spell's color, do this only once each turn. We can do it on our turn and then counter a spell on our opponent's turn. Because one of my big gripes about the deck that we're playing is the fact that I just have no life gain, really. And that's one of the gripes I have with marking them. I've been able to stall mono red or these Boros stacks down to the fact that, like, they're never going to hit me again. But the enchantment for Boros, the 3-mana one, they end up just playing enough creatures and I get burned out of the game. Or mono red top decks a lightning strike and then burns me out of the game. And I just have no way to gain life right now, and that is by far super frustrating to me, because I just have those games locked up and I end up losing them because of that. And I think playing something like this where that can gain me a little bit of life, or even something like this where it's not necessarily an artifact itself, but when it enters the battlefield, we make 2 food tokens, and you may sacrifice 2, mill 3 cards, put a burn card from among them into your hand. So that's also sick because this can help find Synthesizer and work as a draw effect, because a lot of our cards are permanents. I think every card in our deck is a permanent outside of the like these ones here. Yeah, every other card in our deck's a permanent. So most likely we'll find it, and it's even more than in our land. So we have 7 total cards that are not a permanent in our deck. So it's most likely going to hit at least something good. Or even getting to the point that I can play this, because I do ramp quite a bit, and I can play this, put creature power 4 greater. Now, it doesn't specify that it has to be a token, so whenever I start making constructs, this can actually help produce out tokens for us, but it's definitely tough in general. But outside of that, I think that's going to be it for me today, and I'm going to call it there. So I hope you all enjoyed the video regardless, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.